When news hits, when updates are announced, we are your number one source of information and discussion. ATYT16, CubeWorld News, a trusted team, your source for local and Cube Worldwide news, with your lead anchor, Rod Cubeman. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to CubeWorld News. I'm Rod Cubeman. 3 years ago, CubeWorld was released as an alpha game, and a ripple of enjoyment came to our happy world. Let's plays were rampant. Everywhere, castles being sieged and bosses being struck down, XP gained, and loot gathered. The CubeWorlding community was quick to level up, but not long after, they wanted more. They longed for a more completed game, fuller questing, varied characterization and skill trees, online multiplayer, but they were disappointed. Wollay went silent. He was not heard of for many months. Months and months of silence passed, and what was once a vibrant and excited community became increasingly disillusioned and negative. People felt slighted, many thinking Wollay had given up. Some never gave up hope, and these hopes were justified this past fall when Wollay reappeared on the scene, releasing new soundtrack songs for CubeWorld on SoundCloud, and subsequently tweeting progress updates for what was being worked on for the long-awaited update. Today's main story will be focusing on the new character class abilities that are to be added. The information given here is gleaned from Wollay's tweets and shared with you to inform and spread the good news of the inevitable update. Let the hype train forever roll on. Among the most exciting aspects of the update are the new additions to skills for the available characters. It was clear there was more in store for the classes due to the empty skill slot in the alpha for each character created. Each class can now expect new features depending on their specialization. In an exciting and long-awaited change, mages will be able to shoot beams with wands. Mouse 1 is a quick single shot, Mouse 2 a channeled one. A skill usually reserved for the witches and wizards that roam the lands of CubeWorld, players will now be able to fight back with a beam of their own. But the changes for mages don't stop with offense. On the defensive front, Healing Stream is now an AoE spell that heals all friends around the target position. This will make mages an essential choice for traveling with a party. One wonders if the Pet Spitter's heal ability will also be affected by this tweak. Getting into more specific class changes, a new ability for water mages is now that they can create water bubbles that stick to enemies, slow them, and explode when they take damage. Who would have thought bubbles could be so dangerous? Then again, we live in a world inhabited by frog people and giant bunnies, so there you have it. There is also a new ability for fire mages called Flame Rush, which allows fire mages to sprint very fast, leaving a fiery trail behind to burn their enemies. Now this one makes sense, as fire is known for its destructive power of heat and burning. Even the smell of burnt hair seems more intimidating than bubbles to this reporter's mind. Moving on from magic users to the proponents of brute force, Wollay has tweaked the Cyclone skill of the warrior. It will now have a cast bar and block all attacks, adding defensive utility. This has also been long awaited, as up until now it was a great offensive skill which left the user open to attack while in use, a true double-edged sword. Truly defining the class specialization of Guardian, a new ability for Guardians called Heroic Shout is used to taunt enemies. They attack him or her, and motivate friends. They get a heal over time. The new ability for Berserkers is using the Rock Fist to dash forward and deal massive damage to everything in the way. The name itself is enough to sell me on this move. Sounds akin to the intercept move of the Assassin Rogue. Speaking of rogues, there has been testing for a new Assassination Rogue skill. The attacker jumps on the back of the opponent and performs multiple stabs. Kind of a vicious move, but perfect for the assassin. Also, a new ability for the ninjas. For their specialization, Wollay has added a skill which improves intercept and shuriken attack, making those already powerful maneuvers even more devastating. Last but not least, the long-distance damage dealers also have new abilities tied to their classes. The new ability for scouts is the Quicksand Trap, which can be used to slow multiple opponents, allowing time for the ranger to back up all the while still pinging the target with projectiles. And finally, snipers will be able to summon a shadow shooter, who mimics all his moves and attacks, effectively doubling damage dealt and providing distraction and confusing the battle. That sums up the new abilities for each of the classes, a little something new for everyone involved. Surely this will round out any team or squad aiming to take on the big bosses in quest of the new CubeWorld frontiers. With these new specializations alone, we are sure to see a renewed interest in CubeWorld. New characters will be rolled, new adventures will be had, and perhaps the release will reinvigorate the love of the game that was so abundant 3 years ago at the release of Alpha. The game that has so much promise continues to show its worth, and in this reporter's opinion, it never lost that. I'm Rod Cubeman, and for CubeWorld News, thanks for being with us here, and take care. Till next time. Next time on CubeWorld News, we talk more update specifics, changes to the game itself, and the world it encompasses.